Someone's love was very fickle. You Scorpios have the Page of Swords, the Two of Cups, the King of Cups. This right here is about how this person, first they came off like they really was interested in you, right? It could have been something between you and them. And then somewhere along those lines where you started to get to know them more and more, they stopped answering the phone. They stopped paying you the attention that they first gave to you at first, or they were first willing to give to you. Now all of a sudden they need some extra space. Listen, the Lovers and the Wheel of Fortune is about how you Scorpios, you honestly, you've been seeing this new change in these people, and you're thinking about whether or not this interaction between you and them, you potentially getting to know them long term, is worth it. Here's the thing. The Five of Pentacles and the Three of Swords represents it's probably best for you Scorpios to continue to move forward without them. Because when you have someone that shows you all this amount of interest at first, right, and then it doesn't actually go anywhere, it ends up being a complete dud. And this is the reason why it is that I tell each and every zodiac sign, without exception, every relationship should start off relatively boring. And what I mean when I say relatively boring, I mean relative to who you are, what date you're going on, what you're interested in, i.e. the person, or as well as your own personal interest that you would be, doing that activity with them with, i.e. the date, right? The quality of it. It should be relatively boring. And the reason why it is I'm saying that is because this is what happens when you start off very fast. Scorpio, when you start off, when you start off fast, or when a person starts off fast with you, that is a red flag. That is something that you should be definitely watching out for, because those people will start off very high up on the list when it comes to you. And then they, at somewhere along those lines, right, if their heart and soul is really not into it, they will make a drastic drop off. And that's exactly what it is that they did. You were getting to know them and things seem to be working well between the two of you, right, the Lovers. But then out of nowhere, it just seems like this person isn't giving you as much attention anymore. And the reason why is because they're not. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune now represents you really have to reassess whether or not you want to continue to get to know them. But like I said, Five of Pentacles, Three of Swords, you should probably just leave them alone. Because if they're not satisfied with this friendship becoming slowly turning into a relationship, then why are they there in the first place? And why are you Scorpios willing to allow these people to just run roughshod all over the place and essentially give you mixed signals, right? Because that's another thing too that we got to watch out for, is this mixed signal stuff, which is another layer of it. And what I mean by that is the idea that these people can show you so much love and attention and tend to love and care at first, then at the same time, it just falls off the map, right? If you were looking at it on a graph, it would just fall off the map. Where does the love go? Well, they've gotten used to you now, and they've gotten bored of you. That's what it is. The dopamine rush is not there anymore. So this is why it is that you need to date somebody relatively slowly, right? Slow, but not that slow. This is the reason why you need to date somebody relatively slowly, because you're slowly increasing that dopamine rush, i.e. you want that person to be attracted to you over the long term. And how you do that in the first place is by creating a long-term dopamine rush, right? What I mean, you want to get your partner enthusiastic over the long haul instead of the short time. The higher a relationship starts off, the more dopamine they have, which is an instant rush, the least amount of time the relationship is going to last, because it was so big of a dopamine hit, right? It was so big of an adrenaline rush, right? It was so exciting at first. As to where the reverse is true, If you're doing it over a long period of time, right, the slower the build up, but the more pleasurable it is, the better the overall value of it will be, of the love or the relationship that you'll be in over the years, over the long haul. So the thing about it is that the world, the Nine of Wands, and the King of Wands represents, and you're better off continuing to talk to other people in the first place, because what you've got going on is that you, Scorpios, have to understand that you're in a place right now where you're learning how to date on a higher quality. So when you know, prior to this, right, prior to this year, I want to say, you were dating people for the sheer physical attraction of it, as to where now you're actually realizing, right, that you just can't do that, because some of these people, they're a risk to be with. You know, some of these people have psychological issues. It's not just one thing. You may go link up with this person today and then have years of problems afterwards for one night. So a lot of you Scorpios are realizing, okay, that if one person doesn't necessarily work out, you can move on to the other person. And the thing about it is that the Nine of Wands represents when you Scorpios now decide to say this about yourselves and become a little bit more scarce. The same person at the very beginning that represented these three cards, who was so much up on you at first and then dropped off, they're going to become interested again, because like I said, it's a dopamine rush for them. It's not anything long term where they're looking for something long term. They're looking for the most exciting person that they can get, and to keep it exciting. So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the World. You have the Justice, Four of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, then you have the Five of Wands, right? To clarify the World, right? A lot of you Scorpios, look, the reality of the situation is this. If a person wants to be with you, then they're going to be with you, okay? Because, you know, the reason why I say that in the first place is because if a person doesn't want to be with you, they will make all types of excuses, no matter how stupid it is, to get away from you, right? So if a person legitimately wants to be with you, they're not going to go around every corner and hyper criticize every single detail about you. So the Justice and the Four of Pentacles represents what, if you want to be in a relationship, Scorpio, you have to understand that you should be picking for the long haul, right? If a person, you should see if a person is picking you over the long haul. If they're interested in long-term gratification over short-term gratification, all right? And the person who is interested in short-term gratification is looking for the most exciting thing on the market as possible. So the most exciting person in the pool, that's who it is that they're looking for. But the Knight of Wands and the Two of Wands represents, if you Scorpios know that that's not you, then it's time for you to understand what type of dater you are. Because see, we're getting into another layer of it. Because most people don't know what type of dater they are. Me, right? I do best in certain situations. I'm not saying that I do terrible in certain situations, but I know where I do best. And I'm in it for the long term. Here's the situation, though. I can also do short term, but am I more of long term than short term? More of a long term, right? Still play short, but more of a long term. And the thing about it is, you have to understand what type of dater you are too. So the Knight of Wands and the Two of Wands represents, right now you have to really reevaluate yourself, really reassess and figure out what it is that you really want. Long-term success in relationships or short-term? Because if it's short-term, you're going to listen to the type of stuff that they're showing you through social media, right? If it's short-term. If it's long-term, you're gonna take the time to understand the games that people play, understand their natures, the people who play these games, learn the games, and you're going to understand what a person who's in it for the long term is going to look like. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set that notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. And my playlist should be coming up around somewhere around here. Go ahead and feel free to watch more of my videos if you like. I would definitely encourage it. You can kind of see the evolution of Scorpio from where it was to now. Peace.